Hey everybody, MTG Orzo here with the first in a long time. We got a commander deck tech coming at you today. We got Ruhan of the Fomori. Ruhan's pretty cool. He's a 4-mana 7/7. Excuse me. Jeskai, 1 in Jeskai at the beginning of combat on your turn, you choose an opponent at random. So in 1v1, you just choose your opponent, and you have to attack them, if able. So honestly, in 1v1, it's just a 4-mana 7/7. I know this was printed in the very first Commander product in the political deck because you can't control where it goes. But I can control where it goes. So even with the bunch of the changes to Magic Online's 1v1, you still can win by getting 21 commander damage, which means 3 hits from this idiot. What is going on? Work. Oh, cool. Never mind. 1 second. Alright. What was I saying? I'm gonna cut this out. This is bad television. So you gotta hit them 3 times with this guy and you win. So to do that, we've kind of built the deck in half. There's 2 halves to this deck, and this is probably one of my more focused, dedicated 1v1 decks. A lot of decks are like, well, this would be fun in multiplayer, but it also can hold its own in 1v1. This one would be terrible in multiplayer. It just would not work at all. So basically what we want to do is we want to make this guy unblockable, or give it protection from their colors, or give it double strike and hit them 3 times and win the game. Sometimes twice if we give it double strike with like Timber Battle Rage. So let's go over the deck. We're going to play some games. Trying to get back on schedule. I got my laptop working again. I have it Frankenstein plugged into my TV because the screen doesn't work sometimes. So it's alright, we got some beer, we got some magic, we're gonna have a good time, guys. Let's go over the lands first. This is actually pretty much a perfect mana base. We've got like everything we would want. We've got all of our pain lands coming to play on tap. We've got fetches, actually. We've got on color and a couple, and like we've got Arid Mesa, Flooded Strand, Polluted Delta is off color, but it's blue, and the other one, Steam Vents. That's neither of those were Steam Vents. This is Steam Vents. Wait, Scalding Tarn. That's what I'm trying to think. Scalding Tarn. It's the first time I've ever played a Scalding Tarn in my entire life. But we have it. It does, I mean, this is a mana intensive deck. You've got to be able to hit Jeskai colors reliably without green. So we've got the filter lands, which kind of alleviate some weird like basic land openings where you can turn 1 into 2. It's not bad. I mean, they're not as good as they used to be, but they're good. City of Brass and Mana Confluence are just rainbow lands. I mean, they come into play untapped, and the 1 life is not an issue in this deck. Check lands with the correct art. When none of this rivals Vixen or Dominaria art nonsense. Like, if you get a Glacial Fortress, you want this fucking stunning artwork. Fun fact, Glacial Fortress was actually one of the first rares I ever opened when I started playing Magic for more than a wee baby casual. I got a couple packs of M12 because I don't know if Wizards marketing research worked on me, but I really gravitated towards the core set rather than the expert level set, which was New Phyrexia at the time. The first card I ever saw in modern terms was a War Report from New Phyrexia, but really liked M12. I liked all the cards in it, almost. It's actually one of my favorite draft formats is M12 Limited. Probably my second favorite behind Innistrad, which would come afterwards, but I remember going to Target with my buddy, buying a couple packs of M13 and going loitering like fucking hooligans at the library. I opened Glacial Fortress, Rite of Flourishing, and Birds of Paradise as my 3 rares. And all 3 have a very special soft spot in my heart, but that's enough gushing over, check lands. If you're playing the other art, you're playing it wrong. We got our shocks, which are not interesting. We've got our fast lands, which are moderately interesting, actually. They finally went down. I don't know. The blue-red one's still kind of kicking up there, like $4 or $5. We got some basic lands. We got 4 islands, 3 mountains, 4 plains. Mostly that comes down to because of how many 1-drops we have. Once we get to 2, our mana is perfect, basically. So we just have these basics. They can get fetched if we need to. We can play around a Blood Moon pretty well. We don't have that many, so we can splurge and get some nice looking ones. Any other cool ones? We got our True Duels. We got Plateau and Volcanic Island, Tundra. We don't have any like fancy lands. We're 3 mana trying to get this out on turn 3 or 4 consistently. We can't be fucking around with like Slayer Stronghold. Alright, let's go into some spells. 0 mana, we have Pact of Negation, because honestly, we really just need to be able to protect Ruhan. Not being able to do that kind of spells the end for one of our big plans. So I kind of talked about the fact that this deck has 2 plans. You might be seeing this Kiki-Jiki over here and be wondering why it isn't a Ruhan deck. But 2 of my favorite cards in Magic are, there's Flametongue Kavu, which is my absolute favorite card in Magic. But we have Imperial Recruiter and Recruiter of the Guard. And in red-white, I like red-white as like a toolbox. I think like cards like Imperial Recruiter and Recruiter of the Guard plus like Sunforger make red and white like a decent toolbox. And so it just so happens that most pieces of the Kiki combo can be fetched with either Recruiter of the Guard or Imperial Recruiter, plus a bunch of other pretty sweet utility creatures. So half of this deck is beating them to death with a Ruhan or the Fomori, and the other half is, I guess there's half of it is this, 25% of that is Kiki combo, and the other 25% is resolving a bunch of tiny dudes and hitting them in the face. I would say this wins most of the time. I've had a couple wins with the Kiki. Kiki also just provides value in a bunch of our Enter the Battlefield guys. And he's helped by the fact that our mana base is almost perfect, so we can get 3 red if we need to. So just take that in mind when you're like, well, why the fuck is what's a bad card if I don't know, all these, that's okay, I can't even make my own straw man because I like all these cards. Yeah, like I guess like Deceiver Exarch is subpar, but it's because I have a fucking Kiki-Jiki. Did I not put Pestermite in this deck? Maybe I took Pestermite out. I was like, I don't want to fuck with Pestermite. That seems wrong. Hold on. Because Pestermite can get fetched by both, right? That's not how that card is spelled. Or did I even pick up a Pestermite? Reset all filters. Huh. Well, this gets fetched by both, so I don't know why I missed that. That's... okay, well, we fixed that. Never mind. I've played maybe 30 or 40 games with this deck, just like really practicing with it, and I never noticed the fact that I didn't have a Pestermite in the deck. Shows how good this plan is, but let's keep going. So Pact of Negation lets us protect our Ruhan for free, which is nice. So we can cast like a mana leak or something, and then they think, oh well, they're not going to run something else. Boom, Pact of Negation. One drops. A lot of protection and nonsense going in at one drops. Emerge unscathed. We give Ruhan protection. It gets a rebound. We can do it again. This is very good. It's like this artful dodge has flashback, which means Ruhan can't be blocked. So getting multiple uses out of it. God's Willing is probably the weakest. It gains protection from the color of my choice, and I get to scry one. So it protects against removal where something like Slip Through Space doesn't, which just means it can't be blocked, but Slip Through Space replaces itself. So, I mean, they have different applications, but they all pretty much do the same thing. Mother of Runes, Old Mama. Old Mom. Mother of Runes gives Ruhan protection. Wow. Good card. Path to Exile. This Path. It gets rid of their creatures. Silence means, sometimes you have a turn where you're like, oh, well, they're going to cast their fucking Queen Marchesa that I'm going to have to attack into. No, silence. Swords. Removal. I actually really like Gitaxian Probe in this deck. Playing this card, it's a pretty linear deck, but playing with perfect information and then, increasingly semi-perfect information is very relevant. I think Gitaxian Probe is the unsung all-star of this deck. I almost never lose a game that I wasn't already going to lose after I cast a Gitaxian Probe. Serum Visions, because we can't play Ponder or Preordain. Swan Song is just a one-mana answer. Like, yeah, it gives them a blocker, but sometimes you really just need them not to fucking Doomblade your Ruhan. Red, we got Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt, just one mana removal spells. And we got Red Elemental Blast, because blue is super popular in 1v1. A neat interaction that I've had happen 3 times so far is use Swan Song, and I'll always have Red Elemental Blast in my hand, and I can just destroy the bird from Swan Song for value, because they're always playing some not blue deck, and this card can't do anything. And we have Judge Familiar. This is a cute, cheeky little Force Spike on a stick. It'll get you sometimes. Sometimes a Sphere of Resistance on a 1/1 is all you need. Ooh boy, we gotta go to 2 drops. Alright. Apostle's Blessing. If you played with or against Infect in the last 20 years, you've seen Apostle's Blessing. Disenchant. Simple. Gets the job done. Destroys cards like, Collective Restraint, or I guess Moat's not legal in the format anymore, but if it would, Moat would die to a Disenchant. Grand Abolisher, our turns are the most important turns, and so our opponent not being able to play anything on the most important turn is important. Arcane Denial, unconditional counterspell for 1 and a blue. Them drawing cards on the turn that you kill them isn't very important, and it got new art, and I don't know, I really like the Masters 25 having the set symbol watermarks. I think that's really cute. Cute. I think it's really nice. So, as much as I hate the new border, there are cards that I'm like, okay, this looks really good with the watermark. Cyclonic Rift, I'm not even going to talk about that. Impulse, card filter, draw. Annihilate, counterspell, Merchant Scroll, go get all of our blue instants, which are not a huge many. Like, we only have a few, and they're all like right here in misdirection. So, this card could come out. I don't know. This card has been good to okay. Or I guess it's been okay to good, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Negate, counterspell, Phantasmal Image, gets fetched by both of our tutors and becomes copies of some utility creatures. Remand Counterspell, Snapcaster, a great phantasmal image target. Being able to snap back anything over here or over here usually means we're in very good shape. Counterspell, just simple. Went out and got the strong woman art. I think I've played with every art of Counterspell at some point, and I don't think I'd played with the Ice Age one. So here we are, and here we are. Teamer and Battle Rage. Target creature gains double strike. That means we only need to hit them twice. And also gets incidental trample, because this is always power 4 or greater. Which is sometimes relevant. Like, you can give it lifelink with something like a Azorius Charm, and you're not too worried about the fact that you're going to have to hit them again, because you're going to gain 14 life. And you're still going to get damage through. So, the trample is not insignificant. If they are trampling, though, it means we aren't on time. But it's better, it's free, like it's better than if it didn't have that ferocious. Final Fortune is the cutest card in the deck. If you haven't seen this card, it's a 2-mana instant from Mirage. Has a functional reprint in Warrior's Oath from Portal 3 Kingdoms, which is not online to my knowledge. It's an instant, take an extra turn after this one. At the beginning of that turn's end step, you lose the game. So if you're clear for your second hit, you're also going to be clear for a Final Fortune hit. And again, you can't lose the game if you've already won, which I believe is the reminder text on some versions of this card, which is a great... I think that used to be my Skype like quote. You can't lose if you've already won. That's really fucking cheesy. We got the charms. We got Azorius Charm, probably the weakest of the charms in this deck, but that's still a good charm. With the Is It Charm as a counter spell and draw spell, and Boros Charm, which makes stuff indestructible or gives Ruhan double strike. Both very relevant protection things for Ruhan. Hindering Light is a cute card. Counters a spell that targets a permanent I control, or me, but hardly ever comes up. And it replaces itself because it is so situational, but the situation is the only thing we want to protect, so having a counterspell with upside is very nice. And Meddling Mage gets fetched by both of our tutors and can name problem commanders or cards we know about with Gitaxian Probe. And then we got a bunch of mana fixing. We got all 3 signets. Lens is the weakest. It helps get Ruhan out on turn 3. Sphere, same deal. And Spell's Guide, which gets fetched by both of our tutors as well. And really helps to shore up Ruhan's proclivity to go on a trip to exile. 3 mana, we got some kicker cards from Invasion and Apocalypse. We got a Dismantling Blow. What's it called? It disenchants, and if you kick it, Council of the Soratami, which is Divination. Orm's Thunder. It also... fuck, why can't I remember the card's name? Disenchant. It also disenchants, but if you pay a red and kick it, it deals damage to a creature equal to that permanent's converted mana cost. And when I first started playing with this card, it very importantly doesn't say creature or player, so you can very easily like, I'm gonna kick it, and nuke your Gauntlet of Power. Oh wait, you don't have a creature, now I have to shoot my own creature. So that never feels good, but I've grown as a human being, so I feel like we can avoid that situation. It's also got great art. Like, this art is fantastic. We talked about Recruiter of the Guard. This one gets Toughness 2 or less. So, as a noticeable upside to my friend Imperial Recruiter, it grabs fucking Flame Tongue Kavu, which is all I want in a Magic card. Any Magic card that gets me closer to a Flame Tongue Kavu is okay in my book. One sec. Oh, that's gross. Pestermite is you win with Kikijiki. Thassa is, it's one of the gods, you know what they do. This one, though, can make Ruhan unblockable on top of giving Incidental Scry, which is not bad. The Incidental Scry is sometimes irrelevant. We've got Kira, the Great Glass Spinner, which used to be bugged on Moto, which is one of the reasons why I haven't built this deck, because I've had this deck idea in different forms for a long time, but Kira was bugged for like the longest time, where its ability just didn't work. And the ability is, creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability for the first time, counter that spell or ability. So it gives them like a hexproof shield, where you can like take it down to get at it, but honestly that's okay. That's a Vendilion Click. You know what Vendilion Click does. Reflector Mage. Been very lukewarm about this card in this deck. When he does work, it's amazing. But like, it's a good catch-up card, I feel. Like, we're not super a tempo deck, I don't think. And like, playing him on 3, you're like, alright, fine. And then you play Ruhan, and you're like, okay, now I have this 2/3 that doesn't do anything. Wear Tear. It's in this fixing Chromatic Lantern and Coalition Relic. Armageddon. Ravages of War. Both of these go very well with Ruhan, because if I couldn't stop him that turn, there's a good chance that if you blow up all their lands, they'll just concede, because they're like, oh wait, there's a 7/7 that gets to hit me every single turn, and I have no lands in hand. Great. Also, because of the number of mana rocks we play and our relatively low curve, like if you see like Armageddon in like your first 2 cards, you're like, okay, I'm gonna hold off on some land drops, and they get greedy and go to 6, and you just blow up their lands. You have like a land and a Signet, and you're like, well, I can't lose this game. We got Elspeth, who's in this deck not because she makes soldier tokens, but because she gives flying, and people overvalue Elspeth, so they'll go for her when it might be more prudent to go for me or something like that. I don't know. I don't think I've ever cast this card in this deck. I feel like it's just never come up. Flames on Kavu is the best card in the game. Johnny Vengeant has been very good in this deck. Like, deceptively very good. Being able to cut, like, greedy mana bases off from their 3rd or 4th color seems very good, and in fact is very good. And, you know, the Lightning Helix is fine, and everyone is, like, terrified of the ultimate, which just one-sided Armageddons them, so they will absolutely overvalue this over like a Ruhan. Like, okay, well, he's tapping one of my lands, but he might blow up all of them. I'm going to vindicate a Johnny and not vindicate a Ruhan that's already hit you once. And then they die to a Teamer Battle Rage. Misdirection. It's the poor man's Force of Will. I mean, there are a bunch of cases you can use this to counter a counterspell by changing the target of the counterspell to misdirection. Misdirection resolves, and the counterspell has no legal target, so it fizzles. You can redirect removal. Yeah, it does a lot of stuff. I got Kikijiki, which we talked about as an instant win with Pestermite, and also is great value with a bunch of other dudes. Not of This World is better than Force of Will in this deck, because all the spells we care about casting, if we're not already losing, target Ruhan. I mean, I guess like if they Wrath, it's not, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's semi better than Force of Will. So yeah, that's the deck. We're gonna take it through a bunch of games and try to get some winners. See you later, guys.